Remember, guys, this was all going to turn around, right? Bud Light is coming back. It was just a wake-up call, blah, blah, blah. We kind of stepped in it. We're just going to have our new ad campaign, and that's going to be wonderful and fantastic. Everything's just going to come around, right? And then the layoff started. Well, I talked about this yesterday, but now everybody's coming out with it. It's like, did I get an inside line? Did I just make that up? Did I hallucinate the layoffs that were coming? I don't know. That's why you guys come over here, because you get the cutting-edge news, right? But Bud Light makes the move to lay off hundreds of U.S. corporate staffers after a sales slump. Oh, right, now it's legitimate because Reuters is reporting on a CNN report. See, now it all makes sense, right? Anheuser Busch InBev, whose Bud Light sales have recently slumped. Oh, they just slumped a little. What's a little? 25 to 30%. Sorry, what? In the United States. Oh, yeah. Weird, we don't have global numbers. Wouldn't you think that that would be kind of important? We don't even have the sales numbers for this week, or even an amalgamation what we can expect to see if Modelo overtook them for a third consecutive month, which, spoilers, more than likely, right? But they're setting up to lay off hundreds of corporate staff members. The job cuts would represent less than 2% of total employees in the world's largest brewer, but would not include frontline staff like brewery, warehouse staff, drivers, field sales, among others. So anybody who's actually working for the company, as opposed to just simply collecting a paycheck, they'll be totally fine. Bud Light and Budweiser have recently seen the sales drop in the United States after backlash from conservatives. Don't mention any of those gay bars that have gone ahead and taken Bud Light completely off tap and, put the pull handles and affix them right on the stools for the comfort of the patrons. We don't need to talk about that. Just like when the Target stuff was going on. Oh, those dastardly conservatives not wanting to shop and give us their money anymore because they just simply believe that they're entitled to your money. Make no mention to the bomb threats, the multiple store bomb threats that were made by trans activists because you guys didn't stand up strong enough for your queen Dylan Mulvaney. More on her very, very shortly. But yes, it was all over the social media promotion by Dylan Mulvaney and is dethroned by Constellation's brands Modelo Especial as the top-selling beer brand in the country. 2 months in a row. Once again, highly likely to be there for a third. So you have this news drop, okay? It's not exactly great news, especially from the white-collar crowd at Anheuser Busch that would be far more sympathetic to this trans movement that was trying to be ushered in conjunction with the Mulvaney partnership and then also the other Bud Light partnerships that were out there as well. There were multiple of them. I've seen videos and there were stupid TikToks of them. The one that kind of looked like a melted version of Joe Biden. It was all just very weird, but for the news to come out on this day, you wouldn't think that somebody who led to this detrimental downturn in business, you wouldn't think that they would have zero self-awareness and post a brand new video proclaiming how great it is to be 500 days a trans. No, you wouldn't think, oh no, that's exactly what happened. Of course, right? So we get this 7-minute long diatribe from Dylan. We'll see how far we can get into it because there's only so much AIDS we can all handle. I just can't believe, and I listened to a little bit up front on this just to see how much crap is in here. Quite a bit. Sped it up a little bit as well, but yeah, there hasn't been those updates like it was. It was a lot more popular, and you needed to get traction to post, oh my god, it's day 73, or it's day 98 of being a girl. But then all of a sudden, when 365 rolls around, you get your brand new commemorative Bud Light can. Holy shit, that really does put it in retrospect. The last time you gave a specific update was when you got all the adulation of 1 year a girl, sort of, that led to all of the downturn in business. And now, on the day that everybody's losing their job over at Anheuser Busch, small percentage albeit, then you give your next update. I guess you can get the driver's license to say that you're a girl, but that whole empathetic streak that girls profess to have, which isn't really true if you dig into it, really doesn't come across all that well. Let's see how many victim cards can be played here. Like I said, I listened to about the first 30 seconds of it, and yeah, there's a few jokers in that hand, if you know what I mean.
Hi, today would be day 500 of being a girl if I was still keeping up with that series. But I found myself in kind of an interesting position because if I make the content that I want to make and freely share my trans joy,
freely share my trans joy. It's so fucking hilarious because these people need to be reaffirmed every single waking moment of the day. But then at the same time, the content that I want to make, very interesting because you're going to red carpets, you're getting VIP invites to plays in different locations. You have the ability to command $40,000 per event for a speaking gig that you're trying to schedule as well. But realistically, the only type of content that I want to make is just a simple flip cam vlog like what you're doing right now. Like, what's stopping you? Oh, it would go ahead and kind of drag down your analytics because nobody would really want to be following you on a day-to-day basis, and that you only want to pop up when there's controversy, or then when you have an opportunity to have your name back out there. Attached to another story is like Bud Light lays off a bunch of people because of a partnership with Dylan Mulvaney, and then all of a sudden, oh, I got 500 days a girl. Isn't it wonderful? Just coincidence, right?
Subject myself to a lot more trauma. So lately I've chosen to scale back in order to protect my overall well-being. And
that's why I need to continue to post every single waking moment that you do literally fucking anything. That's why, yeah, I have to scale back just a little bit. And plus, that's definitely going to be on the thumbnail. So excuse me. That's why you have to shield yourself away from trauma. The exact same way you said that, help me, I need to escape all of the terrible, horrific, violent situations that I'm facing in the United States by posting exactly where you are in Peru and then leaving very quickly in order to make it to a red carpet event. Yeah, no, it all seems to make sense, right?
it works. I am quite happy, but I'm not doing what I love. So it's kind of a bittersweet thing.
Oh, that sucks.
But today's a big day. So screw
Okay.
it. It's day 500 of publicly coming out as a woman. And that
So day 500, outside of it just being like numerologically very significant, that's not even like a year and a half. Okay, like it's nothing really significant on a calendar, but 500 days, wow, fantastic. That would be something, I guess, if you're only 500 days old, but oh well, can't all make sense, can it?
that's a win. Whatever your take on my series was, at its core, it was about me learning new things. And I think I've learned more since day 365 than I learned during that whole first year. So I thought we were overdue and we could use.
So interesting. Okay, so it's not the type of content that I want to make anymore, and I learned more in the preceding 135 days. Yeah, that's what that would end up being, 135 days. Back when I was just making content about, you know, all of the things that I'm learning, but I learned more and did no updates in between because you were too busy, making money. Interesting.
Use today as a little catch up on some of those things. Okay. So on day 387, I learned that trust is something that should be earned and not just instantly awarded. I was the most trusting and giving person. I mean, you could walk up to me on the
I was the most trusting and I was the most giving person. Holy shit, you really got the female solipsism under wraps though. Because, okay, within a month, it was probably, and all of the Bud Light hate was right at its apex. Nobody from Anheuser Busch called me. Meanwhile, their businesses were basically burning down due to a staggering sales drop that was going on at the time. But no, nobody was thinking about me. Holy fuck, man.
street, and I'd probably give you my social security number if you asked. And that has definitely changed. On day 398, I learned that misery loves company. I think a lot of people have difficulty seeing others happy and successful.
Oh, right. Everybody just pointing and laughing and going, wow, that was really fucking stupid. All of a sudden, it's just all malicious. God damn it, man. Whenever I cover a story, I always want to attribute ignorance as opposed to malice to any situation that's out there, even when it comes to the government, down to just some lolcow doing something absolutely stupid. But here's the flip reverse on that one. See, I was the most giving person ever, but then all of a sudden I started to realize that people were just like crabs in a bucket. They didn't ever want to see it succeed. Well, success is earned and it's not given, so yeah, maybe you got kind of a warped perception of shit.
Especially when they don't fit the standard of the patriarchy. And
Fits the standard of patriarchy. Holy fucking shit. Somebody went and seen the Barbie movie.
I can't tell you enough how much these last 4 months have felt like high school. And that pain that I hadn't experienced in my life was recently inflicted fast and furious.
Weren't you off social media the entire time, or at least taking a step back because of mental health and whatever else these people always constantly talk about? But then in actuality, when you try to press them on anything, you just realize that, you're kind of contradicting your own stances that are right there. I'm taking a step back and I'm moving away a little bit, but then at the same time, the pressure has just been more intense than it's ever been. But if you were taking a step away, then you weren't paying attention. Oh, okay, cool. You actually are a liar, dude. You're a little liar, dude.
And I've learned that my pain doesn't take away the experience of anyone else's or other women's pain, because pain can be limitless, but so is love. But even though our pain might look different, it's still real. And we spend so much time pointing out our differences that we
Even though our pain might be different, it's still real. Is that an analogy for trans women or women? Just saying.
haven't been able to share in our similarities. And my hope is that one day we can do things differently and connect in real ways.
Okay, cool.
On day 402, I learned that you can set your comments on Instagram to followers only. So if you've ever seen mean and nasty comments under my posts,
Okay, that would be a funny joke if you didn't continue and follow up, and then you just moved on to the next day. Because you got all of that heavy shit to begin with. You're supposed to be a comedian, right? Well, women are funny, but hey, if you would have just continued on after that, that would have been a decent joke, okay? But no, it's about my trauma or whatever.
Just know that that person had to follow me in order to comment that, which is embarrassing for them and also kind of absurd because they're just making my following bigger. On day 408.
See, this is, oh, okay, you could go back there and you could kind of see.
Because they're just making my following bigger.
Yeah, see, as you can see, this is all for clout. Like, there's nothing genuine about this. As if that wasn't absolutely obvious, but, oh, then my following gets bigger. Or whatever the quasi-girly laugh is. And if you'd excuse me one more time, I need some more clickbait off of this one. And Dylan's just a wellspring of expressions.
On day 408, I learned who my true loved ones are. I had a lot of people come into my life over the last year, but it's fascinating to actually see who goes quiet and who stands up. More than anything, I received pity, which if you ever experience pity, it doesn't actually feel good for the receiver. I think it's a way.
That's all you do on social media. Help, I'm under attack. Oh, I feel so bad for you. And then you just heart and like all the comments that you want, right? But then I realized who the real loved ones were because it wasn't Bud Light, the company that just signed a paycheck. It's like, just fuck on, shut up.
Way for the giver to soothe their guilt. And not to say that reaching out to someone is bad or leaving a comment, which so many of your comments made me smile on hard days, but I see more productive ways to get active and show rather than tell.
Right.
Do you know who came through for me these last few months? It was trans
Oh, it was trans people? God damn it, I was going to say Jesus, but no, close.
people and queer people, a lot of which saw all of this coming because they knew what it was like to be burned and I didn't. And it's like when you're...
Oh, right, yeah, because they were the ones that actually were proactive about getting rid of beer from bars. It wasn't so much a backlash from the customers that didn't want it in there anymore. It was a proactive step. We're not going to do that because you didn't stand up for Dylan, which those same media outlets that we just read from, the authoritative sources like CNN and Reuters, they don't want to go ahead and attribute any of that stuff. Oh, interesting.
Friend is in a bad relationship and you wait for them to see the light and then they come running back to you. Well, that was the queer community for me. I gave myself and my identity.
Oh, you're talking about trans people and they going running to see the light? Well, about 42% of the time that's accomplished.
To people who didn't deserve it. And then the trans and queer community was there to pick me back up without pity. Right. And thank God for that. And thank God for that.
One rope at a time.
Thank you. On day 422, I graduated to hormone injections, which have worked better for me than pills.
Hormone? What the fuck? Okay. Oh, whatever.
It's been really beautiful to watch my body change and not having to talk about it. But something really ugly happened during these last few months where I started to believe that if I just got really pretty and if I stayed quiet, I could still find success. And that broke my heart because I was so proud of using my voice and I grew to resent it. I grew tired and I thought that being beautiful was the answer. And I mean, what kind of example is that setting? Not a good one.
Says the one person that makes their entire living off of their outward manifestation. Very, very interesting, right?
And I want to set an example for people who aren't naturally good at advocating for themselves, like I was not long ago and I fell back into. And that's what I love about being Gen Z, is that we're holding celebrities and politicians and companies accountable, and that a video on TikTok can do better numbers than an exclusive news story because we have...
Please hire me. Contact my agent. $40,000 an appearance. That's what this part of this is.
A way to control our own narrative, and no one can tell your story better than you can. And if you are Gen Z, don't forget to vote. Like Marianne Williamson says, our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. I love...
Oh my God, Marianne Williamson. She's running for president, guys. Hey, I just can't wait to hear the political punditry come out of Dylan in the next few months. It's just so dumb. But anyways, just hear that out.
On day 475, I learned what it was like to have a gay best friend versus being the gay best friend. It was a very big dynamic shift, but I'm also seeing my relationships with women in my life change in really beautiful ways. And the way that straight men interact with me as I become more passing is just fascinating too.
That's interesting. Okay, is there any more famous of a trans person that's out there right now? How could you be more passing? Okay, that's first and foremost, no, and then at the same time, it's it's all fiction.
I had to come out to a guy last weekend at the club, and he had no idea I was trans. It was so terrifying for me, but he ended up being so lovely about it, and it made me, have a lot of confidence, and I was looking good.
Yeah. Oh, nice dress. Yeah, thanks, bud. It used to be the normal reaction to this shit, but here we are.
On day 486, I learned that blondes do have more fun. And as superficial as that might sound, it softened my features. I feel like I was holding energy and being this cookie cutter version of myself. And dyeing my hair, it felt like a way to say screw that. You know, I did everything to be palatable.
Remember, guys, it's not about your outward appearance, okay? That's just shallow and shit, even though you kind of look like a ghost.
Well, it wasn't enough, but I'm actually a lot weirder and edgier and kooky than I let on. So excited to show that.
Even more edgier, weirder and kookier than this? Whatever.
On day 488, I learned through an online poll that 50% of Americans like me. And that felt like a Black Mirror episode, because when do non-politicians get polled like that? And I do wish that it was 51%, but I also would like to know what exactly are we voting on? Because if it's do they like my outfits, I think it would be much higher. But here's what I also learned from that.
See, again, that was almost the joke there for a second, but yeah, didn't we, I think we looked at that poll in some form or fashion, like, okay. Oh, yeah, because it was Dylan Mulvaney is more popular than Ron DeSantis. Oh, God, that was funny as fuck. It's like, that dude's a giant L. You can go ahead and interpret that however you want.
That the people that took that poll are judging me based on pictures and videos and articles. And those things make up such a small amount of who I actually am. And none of those people have met me in real life.
You're a social media influencer. That is all you're about, okay? What everybody writes about me online is just a small portion of what I am. No, you're hired and fired and then booked for gigs exclusively for your online persona. So what the fuck are you talking about?
That took that poll. You know, they wouldn't. It's gross to poll someone like that. And not to toot my own horn, but I think that that number would be higher than 50 if the voters had shared a meal with me, because I am a very fun dinner date.
No, you're just creepy. Just finish this already.
On day 499, just last night, I learned that you can think you moved on from something and healed, and bam, life goes, oh no you don't, with a wave of grief or anxiety. So you just have to roll with the punches.
Was that because there was the news that broke that a whole bunch of people got fired because you're really terrible at your job, and then you're realizing in real time that, oh God, maybe all of this stuff that I'm doing to myself has actual detrimental effects to the real world? Nah, there wouldn't have been that moment of lucidity, right?
Today on 500 is dedicated to my younger self, who didn't get to celebrate so many awesome discoveries, because I was just hoping to get by. And today is actually day 9,705 of being a woman, because I've always been one. My 4-year-old self knew that, my 10-year-old.
Then why did you have to post the series to begin with? It was always me. The journey, the days of girlhood wasn't the journey. It was the friends we made along the way.
Girl self knew that. My 15-year-old self knew that. And they deserve to celebrate these wins too. And I'm celebrating by being on a girls trip. I'm in France, oui, and I'm going to go have an Aperol Spritz. But I just can't stress how much your support has meant to me. And I want to thank you for being along for the ride. I love ya. I hope you have an amazing day. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't really care what you think about the rest of this stuff, but no, very self-indulgent. It's 500 days that I've been a girl, but actually, spoilers, it's been 5,000. Blurp-de-blurp, who the fuck gives a shit, okay? Just, you know, don't make like the rest of your friends that you apparently found along the way and go down to the Eiffel Tower with a fucking length of rope. Oh, I'm sorry, not a length of rope, but something that identifies as a string. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.